Warning. This podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis and trans women. If you are genderqueer, gender fluid, figuring it out, anything in between, and feel like this conversation is also important for you, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. Sweet romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Hi, y'all. This is Jace, she, they, and you've found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. I am feeling my comfy sexy today.
You look
I just need to
amazing.
Thank you. For those of you listening to this, I apologize. I will try and maybe to take some screenshots. I'm really terrible at selfies, so it's not going to happen. But it is 83 degrees in my office right now, so I am in I know, don't ask. It's really frustrating. So I am in one of my favorite sports bras because I have no cleavage. I can handle a plunge. And a little, I think this is technically a beach cover-up, but I would never wear this to the beach. And I just feel so comfy sexy. It's airy, it's big, and I love myself right now. So I hope that you all are feeling your comfy sexy, whatever combination of clothing it is. Again, things that you can't see. I have both of my book sticker covered water tumblers. I have 2 emotional support tumblers on my desk right now. Both of them are covered in stickers. It's very funny. So I feel like this podcast has taken a bit of a turn from its original intent, which was to bridge the gap between what we read in romance and what happens in real life. And a lot of what I focused on in the last year has been diversity. And I'm going to use that word because apparently it's a dirty word now, and I love me some dirty words. And just high level, why I think diversity is so important is if you don't see yourself represented, you don't believe that you could have or want or like what you're reading. If you're only reading about people who don't look like you and love like you, getting a happily ever after, being satisfied in the bedroom, then you will internalize that you are not worthy. You are not able to get those things. And so creating a sphere of romance, creating a community of romance where the stories we're reading are representative of the people who are reading it, mean that everyone reading romance internalizes that they are worthy of love and good sex and a communicative partner who adores the pants, sometimes literally off of them. And when we internalize that and feel like I deserve and I can have what I see in these romance novels, then, and only then, or maybe you are just incredibly lucky and you inherently know that. But for those of you who don't, it's important that diversity is there so that you can see the representation. And once you believe that you are worthy of all the things in the romance novels that you read, then you can take the things that you're reading and put it into practice. And today, I want to talk about so now that you understand why I've taken that big swerve, it's something that I will acknowledge my privilege. I didn't realize affected so many people in that way in the romance sphere and in the world. And so I apologize that it was a shock to me, but has really pivoted what I champion in this space, I think, in a positive way. Having said that, I want to talk about taking the things that we read and bringing them into the real world. And a lot of this reckoning with me comes from this is so came from an Instagram post that I think has a lot of merit. And it is a post from a sex therapist. So I will link that post in the show notes. And it was the question of how signals get mixed between, and I'm going to primarily talk about heterosexual couples in this discussion because I feel like that's number one, the biggest community out there. It's really sad. Heterosexuality is the worst sexuality, but we are the majority. And
yeah.
So I am going to say women and men. Know if you're listening, this can also apply to couples of any gender arrangement. So any sort of queer couple, like to women, non-binary people, anywhere on the gender spectrum, probably also to men, but I'm not talking to men. I don't have your parts. I don't have your desires. I'm not going to be talking about the queer experience for gay men right now. But so know that while I will primarily be speaking male, female, this really applies to anyone. Honestly, it's just too many words. So a lot of the times women read things in romance novels and maybe your partner is wonderful and amazing, is like, hey, I want to know what you're reading, reads what you read and then goes, I know what to do, and tries to directly recreate what is in the book in real life, or takes a phrase that you maybe have said about a book character and goes, I got you, and gets it wrong. And the post I'm referring to had the woman in this couple say, oh, I love how he just wants her all the time. And the man internalized that and came up behind her while doing the dishes, like, yeah, babe, I want you right now. And she's like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? No, get off me. And the question asked in this post was, why do you think that is? Why do you think that type of interaction was rejected? And for me, when I thought about it, it came down to consent. I know. When you are reading a romance novel, number one, we are consenting to all the sexy things and sexy thoughts and sexy happenings in the novel. If you're ever not in the mood to read sexy things and feel sexy feelings, you probably don't open up a romance novel. So we're in this space where we're open to sexy things and sexy feelings. And there is a person represented in this space who is doing sexy things to the other person. So when we've already opened ourselves up to like, yeah, I'm open to like sexual shit right now, the idea that, oh yeah, this guy just wants her all the time and he grabbed her, of course, because we've given permission to want sexy things. Now, when you're doing the dishes or folding the laundry or brushing your teeth with your in the house, those aren't necessarily signals to your partner, unless you have talked about it. Those aren't signals to your partner that you are open to sexy feelings and sexy things.
Yeah.
And I get it. I absolutely understand why a woman saying he just wants her all the time and that's so sexy would translate into like, I'm going to grab some vajayjay from a man. Like, obviously she wants me to like squishy.
I am so glad you did a visual with that as well.
Or whatever physical affection, like whether it's a bite on the neck or like a grip on your waist or whatever it is that your partner decides is how they show sexual intent. But you haven't consented to that. You haven't agreed to that. You haven't said, yes, I want you to show me that you want me all the time by X, Y, and Z. And in a book, rarely, it does happen, but rarely in a book do we see someone making advances and being like flat out rejected, or like, oh no, I'm too busy. I have to think about all the things. I'm on my computer. I'm thinking about my work email. Did I answer that PTA call? Whatever it is. Usually the FMC is right there with them. Oh my God, yes, absolutely. Because I'm wet for you always. I cannot explain like a phrase
How
that I
that is,
often.
that is not,
How is that possible?
yeah,
It's not possible.
not.
Well, also, there's a phrase that I've heard multiple times in books is, I love how you're always so ready for me. Really? Oh, I mean, like, and of course, like, we're thinking sexy thoughts and whatever it is, but
Yeah.
if the timeline in a romance novel happened in real life, I am just going to state I'd still be dry as a bone. Not because I didn't want it, but because it was maybe 20 seconds. Like
Exactly.
one kiss does not a waterfall make,
No.
you know?
Nope. No,
So
no.
So when it comes to this, there's a disconnect. And I think it's because we're still not comfortable having the in-depth conversation that needs to happen when taking what we read in the romance novel into real life.
Yes.
And there are a number of different reasons. Like maybe I make this a series, but I feel like we've had a conversation about fantasy, right?
Yeah.
We've had an episode about fantasy. I'm going to link that one in the show notes too, y'all. But the thing that I want to talk about in this episode is the communication disconnect between partners. And
Yeah.
if you listened to maybe the first episode I ever recorded, I made the analogy, and if you haven't, well, you've got like 60 something episodes that you can go back to. I made the analogy of ear biting or nibbled your ear. What do you think of when you read the phrase nibbled her ear or nibbled my ear? And that these two things can be very different.
Mm-hmm.
And if one partner is thinking X and the other part is thinking square, when they happen, whoever initiates, X is not a square and square is not an X, someone is going to be disappointed. And so this idea that we can just hand a book over to our partner, and I will 100% say that I have been guilty of this. I have absolutely handed a scene to a partner from a book and said, this. And it did not go the way that I expected. Just gonna put that out there. through no through no fault of anyone's. Like, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't their fault. I'm pretty sure it was some sort of BDSM multiple partner situations. I think it was from Narcissus in Chains, which is the first Anita Blake novel with like real kink in it. So I'm pretty sure I thought I was being really light on the kink, and my partner at the time was like, no.
No.
What? Looking back on it, in the moment, I think I was really frustrated. Like, but looking back, I can see how it taught me that, number one, like, I had 11 other books to like build up to this moment in this story of sexual exploration, and the human who was reading it did not. So, number one, like, take with a grain of salt that you have a very deep emotional connection to whatever it is that you're reading. And if you just hand your partner a scene and don't make them read the book or the series that came before it, depending on how slow burny your situation is, they do not have the emotional work, the upfront emotional work that you have. They have not dedicated hours of their life to getting to the same place as these characters and you.
Yeah.
Unless what you're looking for is literally mechanics. You're like, hey, mechanics, we have the same desk. I want to fuck against it like they do. Unless it's that basic, it's not the reason you're giving them a scene.
Yeah.
And what we have to recognize is if we're asking for consent from our partners about how they engage with whatever it is that we've told them, like if there's that disconnect of why is it always sexy in a book but not in real life, it's consent, then we also have to respect the fact that we just handed our partners something incredibly sexual that they might not have consented to, that they might not be in the headspace for. And so asking them to do the labor intellectually, emotionally, sexually of everything that goes into a romance novel isn't necessarily fair.
It takes away their ability to put the book down that you have had as you're reading that particular scene.
So we've got all of these big feelings on the part of the reader, and we've got absolutely no context for the partner.
Mm-hmm.
And we've mentioned it in other episodes of this podcast is you can't have conversations about sex during sexy time.
No.
You just can't. You
No.
are vulnerable emotionally, physically, who knows what position you're in. And having conversations about wants, needs, disappointments is not a good, it's not a good time when you're already in an emotionally heightened state. So let's say you do. There are things that you want to bring from the book into the bedroom or from the book just into your relationship. You might be someone who loves forehead kisses. There's nothing wrong with a forehead kiss.
I love forehead kisses.
If you're not a forehead kiss person, or it reminds me of your grandma or whatever it is, that is totally fine. But there's nothing inherently wrong with a forehead kiss. And you love that there's this one, it's like your ideal gold standard physical affection. And you have a book and a partner does it all the time and you just love it and you want your partner to understand how it makes you feel, and the person receiving the forehead kisses in the books has this long paragraph of all the reasons why forehead kisses give them all the squidgy feelings in their tummy and in their soul and in their heart, and you just want your partner to understand it. You gotta give them space and you gotta explain why. I think often, or at the very least in that instance, or we just assume that the book would do the work for us. But that's why reviews are vibes, people. Like, there are so many books that I've been like about that people rate. There's one book in particular, and I can't even handle how much people love this book because I hated it so much. And every single time I hear people talk about that book in particular, or all the books in the rest of the series, which I will never read them because I hated this one book so much. If anyone ever asked me to do anything from that particular book, I would immediately, that relationship is over. I find that book so repulsive that the idea of doing anything from that, if someone handed me that book and was like, yeah, baby, this is everything that I've ever wanted, I'd be like, yeah, we're done. Get your shit and go. I don't think so. That is a huge red flag for me. So how do we, and I'm speaking to the romance readers because we're the romance readers, right? We're the people who are reading the books. We're having the feelings. We see a scene, we see an interaction, we see a something, maybe you really, really, really want some TVP, and that is going to take a lot of conversation. Oh, and straight up work. Straight up, you got to train for it.
Yes.
You have to train for it.
Ooh.
Even TP even, you can't just go in for it. If you do not know what those acronyms are, I will put them in the show notes for you all. And I can use explicit language on my website, but like I cannot in other places. So enjoy that. But I think there are a couple steps that we need to take as romance readers before we bring whatever it is to our partners. So, step one, why? Why do we want to recreate this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because of the funny feelings in our tummies or nether regions, depending on where you feel the funny feelings? Is it because of the emotional connection? Is it because it sounded fun? What is it about that scene that made you want to take it off the page?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It like if you're like, I love the idea of shower sex. Number one, you're wrong.
Yes. 100%.
Number one, you're wrong. Unless it's like against the wall, water's like you don't want water down there.
No.
And I say that I'm joking. Like really, if that is your thing, if you love shower sex, if you think if it feels really good to you in your body, I am shocked because I have attempted it and I understand that foreplay for me can start in the shower, but no water can be in the vicinity of the nether regions because it takes away all the gushy, splooshy goodness for me. If that is not the case for you, I am fascinated. Good for you. But when you discern what it is that you like about it, you can bring that concept to your partner. Because your partner, you never know what your partner's going to take away from this. Is it if you say, "Oh, I really like what the FMC does or the MMC does." Okay, well, what if those things are not possible for your partner? What if your partner takes, I love the FMC, or fuck, not FMC, I love the MMC, and I'm not 6'5", jacked, tattooed. I
Yeah.
don't have a Jacob's ladder. You don't know. Like maybe the scene, maybe they have a Jacob, maybe you're reading, pucking around, and Caleb really does it for you. Caleb is great, and he has a Jacob's ladder, but it wasn't the Jacob's ladder that you want. It was the kitchen sex. Okay, well, if you just
Yeah.
present the scene, your partner could take away from it. I want you to get a Jacob's ladder, which
Yeah,
is a very
absolutely.
bold statement to make to a
Oh,
partner. Okay.
holy crap.
I would, that is like, I don't think I'd ever say to a partner, you need your ears pierced, like your lobes pierced,
Right?
because that is like that's their body and you don't get to make those choices. You buy some nice clip-ons. If they like clip-ons, you say, here's some beautiful clip-ons, my darling, enjoy, I have decorated your ear. But is it that you like the focus on cunnilingus? Is it you like the technique on cunnilingus? What if this scene has an FMC coming 5 times, but you're a one and done kind of person? Well, your partner might say, have I been failing this whole time? And my partner could have come 5 times in a session, but I am inadequate and I have not delivered. Like, there are so many misinterpretations that could
Yeah.
happen if you present the scene or don't understand what about the scene it is that you like. If you're a one and done kind of person, you might have to say, I love that they started with it. I love that they focused on it. I loved the edging of the cunnilingus, but I personally, I want to come with your dick deep inside me. And that is a much more actionable thing, because if your partner takes away, okay, I have to make her come 5 times when I've only ever known her to be a one and done,
Yeah.
he's going to give you an orgasm via oral and then you're like, fuck, what am I supposed to do for the rest of this? Like, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I try. Or maybe you really like the idea of coming during cunnilingus because you can't really come during penetration, but it always feels better because he sees up after cunnilingus, and then the penetration feels even better. And you're like, amazing. My magical pussy that feels better has made my person come. Whatever it is, whatever the
Yes.
fuck it is, you need to know the why, which leads into, you need to know the why it's attracted to you. And I feel like we've already gone into it, but I'm going to just state it for the record. Step 1 is why. Step 2 is what. What specifically are you bringing from the scene into the real world? Is it the emotional connection? Because that's what got you going. Is it the positions that they used? Is it the dirty talk? Is it the whatever? Is it the shibari that appeared?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know, but you have to know. So you can ask your partner specifically for what you want. If we're
Yeah.
thinking about goals, we're going to make them smart, like we want to make some like specific, measurable, actionable. I don't remember what the rest of them are. That's why I talk about fucking romance novels and I don't do leadership training. I will actually put what SMART stands for also in the show notes because I feel like I should know what it is and I should remind myself. But that's it. Like, what is it? What is the thing that if you went into this reenactment or inspired moment of ness, if it didn't happen, you would be sad to have missed out on. And it's not everything, friends. It's not. So now that you know the what, you know the why, and you know the what, here's where it gets challenging because it involves another human.
Yeah. Oh.
You gotta figure out the how together. You
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And you also have to, when you're bringing this to a partner, respect any resistance that they give you. And the how is where communication really happens because you have to take into consideration your partner's wants, needs, and imagination. They might say no, like to all of it, to some of it. They might need to have it explained in a different way than your brain first wanted to. Remember,
Yeah.
nibbling ear. You say X, they hear square. I like the phrase that Princess Rara used, and I've heard it multiple times since then, but I'm going to associate it with Princess Rara because she's the one I heard it from first, is try anything twice.
Yes.
Because even if you get through the why and the what into the how, and you've come together and you know exactly what's going to happen and how, and you don't know how you're going to react. Like you maybe have to call an audible in the moment, or realize that your proportion.
Wait. Pause.
Yeah,
Did you just use a football term?
I did.
I am so proud.
I don't actually know what it means. I think it's when you don't do what you planned on doing, but I don't know how that decision is made.
That's exactly right. Because this is
good.
Growing up watching so much football. They go in with a plan, like they go to the huddle with an idea of what the coach wants them to play, but the quarterback,
little power circle.
The power circle, yes. The quarterback can call an audible and be like, "Nope, change." And yeah.
So for those of you who are listening who are also not sports fluent, I'm gonna go with not sports fluent. Congratulations, we've all learned something. And I'm also very proud of myself. I used it correctly.
You did. I'm very proud of you.
Look at me go. So you might have to adjust. I think one of the ones that I always think about is proportions. Because let's just put it out there. There are so many romance novels where the dude is 6'2" and the girl is 5'2", and that there are things that I don't even know if they are correct in the proportions of those people. Like, I don't know if legs could go in places that I'm like,
how do you slot, like, where
I absolutely have been caught reading going, like
same. Like, trying to figure out.
Okay, like, he said he was from behind, and then titty, and then clit. I'm like, but which hand was it? And then, but there's a hand in his hair? I thought there was a hand on his hip and throat. Like, how many hands does he have?
Exactly.
Like, it almost needed to be twister. Right hand, throat. Left hand, vagina. Like,
now, as a writer, I will say it can get kind of confusing to keep track of all of your body parts and where they are.
Yeah. There are so many reasons why I don't write. Besides the fact that if you've been reading my newsletters, like, I am terrible at tenses. What is she? What is tense? Never met her. So so now that you've gotten through all of these, like, understand that there might be unforeseen complications or adjustments that you have to make. Your hips might not bend that way. The hips don't lie if they don't go in that direction. Or your bed might be the wrong size.
The wrong height or whatever. Yes.
You know, like, you want your partner to be standing and you're kneeling on the bed, but you've got it lofted or it's on the floor. And, like, those things can't work. So understand that there are realistic things outside of your control, unless you are a bajillionaire and you're going to recreate the exact specifications. But even if you do, the timing of the fucking scene won't be the same.
Exactly.
So understanding that I'm going to go back to cunnilingus because I feel like there's so much more nuance in the way that cunnilingus is written versus penetrative sex. And that is something else to talk about. Like, it's not just in out friends. Like, we can do more than that. But if the cunnilingus as directed is a circular motion or a suction or a tapping or a wiggle back and forth, but that's not what really does it for you, you gotta adjust. And maybe you thought it would. But in the moment, giving your partner the opportunity, or giving yourself the opportunity to say, like, hey, we've got to adjust, is really important. And discussing with your partner ahead of time how those adjustments are made. It can be a light version of a safe word. Maybe for you it's orange, and you've decided that in this instance, orange means we've got to switch it up. Because you can use the traffic lights for vanilla sex too. Green, everything is amazing. I'm, like, gushing like nobody's business. You've pushing all the right buttons, honey, sweetie, boo-boo. Orange, we might need to make an adjustment. I don't know if this is working for me. It's not bad, but it's not what we wanted. Or red, you hit my cervix and I don't like that. You know, I've gone dry. We need more lube. I'm getting a cramp. I'm about to sneeze or fart or whatever it is. It happens. It's real. I just read an arc where it wasn't the FMC, but his brother's really mad at him and, about a situation. Don't worry about it. But he's talking about his own relationship. And he's like, you need, like, a relationship means you have the smelliest fart of your life on the couch. And then 5 minutes later, you take it to the bedroom because you want to hump her brains out anyway.
Yes, 100%. I agree with that.
So you have to have some sort of system when you're trying new things that gives you a slow down, a speed up, or whatever it is. And I am a huge fan of the traffic lights. Huge fan of the traffic lights.
It is good.
All right. We're gonna reiterate again. You've got your why. Why is it that this scene really appeals to you? Is it emotions? Is it physical? Is it 5 orgasms? Is it because it's a one and done? And it doesn't fucking matter. What is the thing in this scene specifically? Because we've got our emotional connection. Emotions first. Emotions are the things that are like the squidgy feelings in your tummy or your nether regions. Those are emotional. And then you've got the what. Logistically, what is it about that thing that makes you want it? Is it because the person really enjoyed it? Is it because You want to make your partner come in his pants because of cunnilingus. It's probably not going to happen. Let's just be fair. Coming in your pants because you like eating someone out, that's a skill.
It is a rare
but
skill.
It's one of my favorites. One of my favorites to read about, but it's not necessarily realistic. So what is it that you want? Is you want your, like, what is it that you want to actually happen? And then we get into the how, and that's when you bring your partner in, because you've got your why and you've got your what, and now you talk together about how. And remember, your why is emotional. They have not consented to any of this. They have no why. So you are bringing something highly emotional into a conversation that your partner has no emotional connection to. And they might express themselves as though this is something they have no emotional connection to. And that is valid. Whether or not you have them read the scene or book or whatever or not. Okay? They have no obligation to consent to the emotional work that you've done willingly to get to this point. But you can ask them for the what's, and you figure out the how's together. And you try anything twice, unless something like truly traumatic happens in the midst of the trying, and then maybe that one's off the table for forever. But go into it with the idea of we're going to try it twice. And this might sound lame. Schedule it. Plan it out.
Absolutely.
Plan it out. Thursday night, 8 p.m. I cannot wait for you to peg me, or for me to peg you, whoever it is.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's the thing. Like, it has always been suggested that scheduling, like sex or whatever, is completely unsexy. And I'm like, but it builds anticipation. Like, there's the whole
if you do it right,
feature. Yeah.
If you do it right, and then you think about, like, hey, remember that thing that we were both so excited to try? Yeah, I can't wait. I've been thinking about it all day. Oh, I've got the strap on. I've got the glitter. I don't know why I keep saying strap on.
Jace, are we having some thoughts that we need to figure out?
No, it's because I just read a book with pegging in it, and it was in the trigger warnings, and it was actually in it, and I was so proud. I know. I was really proud. I was like really happy because it's not happening. But like whatever it is, like I can't wait. I'm wearing the special perfume. Like I bought the lingerie. I bought the pillow because you know what? Pillow under the hips.
Yep.
Pillow under the hips. Whatever it is that you're doing, you can build the anticipation and get excited and connect as a couple about this thing that you're going to do together. And also understand that like it might just go horribly wrong, even twice.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's okay. But the internet and the memes and the viral videos and the jokes would make it seem like there is a fast track highway from, ooh, sexy scene to, ooh, sexy times. And there isn't.
There is not.
Because just like that Instagram post I mentioned, there is a massive chasm between your understanding and your partner's understanding. And it takes legitimate work to bring the two together and be able to create a space where you're comfortable fantasizing, you're comfortable expressing the fantasy, your partner can receive it without feeling like you're judging them for X, Y, and Z, that they're comfortable enough to try something new. Maybe you've really always wanted 3 fingers and it makes someone nervous, and it's because they have trauma about 3 fingers, inside a human. That has nothing to do with you. Like, you don't know. You don't know. And that's the thing. Anytime we're involving another human, there are factors that are beyond our control.
Yep.
So if you want your spicy fantasy, your scene to be you and a suction dildo that you stick to your shower wall outside of the spray, outside of the spray, outside of the spray, that's fine. You don't need to tell that dildo anything. They're going to do what a dildo does. feel like that is
That
about to
was
be a tongue twister.
That was an
Anyone want to
amazing
finish that?
sentence.
If anyone wants to finish that tongue twister for me, please do. Oh my God. And this is not to say, like, I hope that this episode didn't turn off the idea of bringing book stuff into real life. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Because the things that make you feel all squidgy, sploosh, whatever onomatopoeia word you want to describe your lady bits or your nether regions, they're valid and you deserve to have them validated by a partner and experience and all of those things. And it can help you discover more about yourself and more about your relationship and how you like to connect to someone sexually. But it isn't as simple as, here, read this scene with no context. Just like it's not the same as, oh, I love how he wants her all the time, to like honka honka while doing the dishes. I specifically put that in there. Like now I'm aware of like what it looks like. So all of you who are watching the video, enjoy. Like it's not the same. He wants her all the time isn't it isn't. There's a disconnect. It's not why we like it. It's not maybe look, if your go-to, like how you communicate with your partner is, I want you to come and grab my tits and then I know it's go time, like fine. There's no shame in that either. But for most of us, that isn't an established sign of sexual desire. It isn't going to turn off the need to wash the dishes. Oh my God, washing the dishes? Okay, honka honka, great. I gotta take the gloves off. Like, I got my pruny fingers. I'm probably sweating because I've got like, last night's lasagna, like whatever it was. You know?
I do. Like, that's not a sexy moment for me personally.
And it's time. It's time from point A to point fuck around, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like the timing of real sex versus a romance scene isn't
Yeah.
the same. The time between here's my sexy signal, like here's the bat signal for sexy times. I'm just like throwing in all the references today.
I
But here's the
noticed.
bat signal to, like, Batman doesn't just show up because the bat signal went out. He's got to get in the suit. He's got to get in the car. He's got to drive out of his secret lair. He's got to like navigate Gotham City traffic to get to you. Like there is a process.
So when I was in college, I'm just going to say this. I wrote a play. I have a full-length play.
Okay.
And one page is 1 minute. So think about that. One page is 1 minute. And if all of this stuff, sexy time stuff, happens on one page, that is entirely unfeasible as a human.
Even when I'm listening to a page and it's probably about like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, depending on what you're reading and the size of the book and all that. We joked, like, it's not like one kiss to waterfall. It's not even, I mean, maybe you have that one thing that if your partner does it, it's like, oh, stop it. But you don't bring that out every time. You save it. And you might not even, like, that might not even be like, I love it when you, okay, I will tell this because this is a weird thing and y'all can judge me, like, fuck off. But people who have known me have seen the hickeys to prove it. I go feral when people bite my back, like right around my shoulder blade.
Really?
I cannot explain it. I go feral. And I remember this one lovely, generous partner. I was black and blue the entire span of my shoulder blades. And I had forgotten about it because like, it wasn't like it wasn't like an impact scene where you feel it for days. Like,
yeah.
I bruise so easily. So like, you know, You flick me and I've got a bruise. But I was out, it was summertime in Chicago, and so I wore, some sort of strappy dress.
Oh,
And my friends were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, I was not expecting to explain myself in this way to you, but I'm fine.
no. It's fine.
It was, in fact, more than fine.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay. But like, you can't, like, if I'm doing the dishes and you came up and like chomped on my shoulder blade, like, I wouldn't be like ready to go. It's not zero. It's not the next step up.
Right.
Am I blushing?
A little.
Okay. Well, I don't know why like that is making me blush. Like, it's such an innocuous thing. It's not like,
Maybe
it's
because
just like a weird thing.
well, it's not a quote unquote normal erogenous zone.
Yeah.
So
guess.
maybe.
I guess. I don't know. If the person who this memory was about ever listens to this, all I can say is thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. I look back on that fondly. But so we started this conversation with consent. When we're engaging with romance, we're automatically giving consent to us and the material and the sexy feelings. And that same needs to be given to our partner and our partner to us. And having these conversations outside of sexy time when we're being vulnerable is what builds the connection, the communication, the ability to express oneself and have what you're saying heard and what having your partners said heard by you is really important. Because you're doing all of this sexy time stuff with a book on your own. It's just you and the book. You're consenting to your own conversation. You know what it feels like, you know what it means. And it's kind of like both masturbating and being tickled. Stay with me. You can't tickle yourself because the thing about being tickled is it's something that's done to you. It's something surprising. You don't know. It's that, mysterious. So what's going to happen next? I personally hate tickling. Hard limit, absolute red the second you do it. But it's also like masturbating. Like, no one can make you come faster than you can.
Yeah.
Like, any person I know with a penis has said, like, hand jobs are great, but I do it better. like, don't get me wrong. Like, they love one. They're, anyone touching their penis is great. But like, in terms of like, I think I was dumb and asked the question, like, am I the best hand job you've ever had? And they were like, no, I'm the best hand job I've ever had.
That is a very secure partner. Like, I feel like they're pretty secure in themselves to be able to just be like, no, me.
I don't know if I think I laughed at the time, but like, that is true. That's true. I feel very lucky that partner felt secure enough to be like, no, like, you're great. Like, doing great. Like, touch my dick any day, any moment. Like, you want to, fine. And that was, their consent for me. But no, if who's going to be able to jerk me off fastest, it's going to be me. And I think because so many more people are reading romance and being open about their love and appreciation and their enjoyment of explicit romance, these are the type of situations that we have to, or we should prepare for, because there's gonna be the scene you want. There's gonna be that scene, or maybe your partner asks like, whoa, what's your favorite scene? What's the one that like you masturbate to? We've all got a scene that we open up the book to, and the pages are a bit more warped than the others. It's not all romance. All romance is not masturbation fodder, like,
right.
Because you're also remembering the 8 hours of reading you did before that scene to get you there. But if you have these partners that are even asking you these questions, you have to be prepared for, okay, here's mine. Why do I like it? What do I like about it? Partner, I've told you, how would we make this happen? Ideally, you've got a partner that goes, yeah, sure, I want to do it with you. It's a two-way street. It's two people coming together to make something happen. If you didn't want your partner involved, you'd buy a motherfucking dildo and I hope that this conversation, as nonsensical and a bit tangenty as it did get, because it wouldn't be a conversation with me if it didn't get that way, helps you understand that there are some things that are going to stay on the page. If you are in a committed monogamous relationship, TVP is probably one of them. But for those of you who are in polyamorous relationships, TVP might be on the table. It might be as simple as using degradation and praise, which I say simple, but in practice is not. There are a lot of things that attract us in romance novels that we might want to explore outside of romance novels. And most of them involve other people. So how can we safely, healthfully, kindly bring what we want and read on the page into the real world? I hope this conversation helps. If you want, share the scene that you would most like to try, or maybe the first scene you did try with me. You can leave it in a voicemail. You can send it in an email. I would love to know what y'all are excited about, like what gives you that squidgy feeling in your tummy, or if you try this method of why, what, and how it goes. Bye.
Bye.
Jace Reads Romance is a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Produced by Seffi, edited by Michael Achenbach. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. For show notes and more, head to www.jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow us on socials at Jace Reads Romance everywhere. For more exclusive content, visit us on Substack, where you'll find extended episodes, bonus episodes, and more. Have a question, story, or a book recommendation you know I'll love? Email Jace at jacereadsromance.com or call and leave a voicemail at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And as always, this is Jace, holding space for you.